this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And today, we are talking about Jill Biden, who believes that her husband was pushed aside. In other words, she doesn't feel like his friends and allies supporting him in a second run for the presidency of the United States. So I'm going to go into the article about what she thinks, but also keeping in mind that the Democratic Party and the presidency of the United States is larger than one or two people. And this article comes from The Independent. Jill Biden to honor Joe at DNC amid dismay at those who pushed him aside. First Lady Jill Biden will have a role on the first day of the Democratic National Convention to honor and preserve the legacy of her husband, President Joe Biden, despite having voiced her disappointment with those who encouraged the president to exit the 2024 race, according to a report. The First Lady will give a tribute to her husband on Monday on the first night of the convention, NBC News reported Friday. The DNC will be held on August 19th to 22nd in Chicago and will likely look drastically different from the original plan drafted when the president was still running for re-election. Her appearance at the DNC will give Jill Biden a chance to tout her husband's 50-year legacy of public service. It's not immediately clear what her role at the DNC would look like. The Independent has emailed a spokesperson for Jill Biden, the White House, and a representative for the DNC for more information. However, her public appearance at the event celebrating the fresh Democratic Party picks, Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, is notable given the allegations that the First Lady has privately expressed dismay at some Democrats who did not publicly support President Biden's re-election bid, the outlet reported. Probably few people would blame her for supporting her husband and being disappointed that people that she may have thought were their friends or allies didn't support him in his re-election bid. But once she has time to process it and think it through, she will come to understand that politics is what politics will be. And she might want to reflect on the fact of some of the decisions and choices that her husband made over his 50-year career in politics to advance his own agenda. So it is what it is. All is fair in love, war, and politics. And if they didn't say politics, I just added it. Elizabeth Alexander, the First Lady's communications director, told NBC News, Jill Biden's tough and of course defends her family when she needs to. Always has, always will. Pressure for Biden to drop out of the race from donors, voters, and prominent Democrats alike mounted after the president's fumbling debate performance on June 27th. 3 days after the debate, Politico reported that Jill and Hunter Biden, the president's son, were among the loudest advocates for the 81-year-old to stay in the race behind closed doors. Now, they witnessed the performance that he gave during that debate as well as the rest of the world. And the fact that they want him to still stay in and try to lead this nation tells you that it might be just as much about them as it is about him. Why would they even want to put him through that? Because just as a practical point, if he could have done better in that debate, he would have. He is the president of the United States, and that was a nationally televised, maybe even internationally televised debate. So the whole world got a chance to see him in that condition. So why would they even want to put him through that? It's just a question. Publicly, the First Lady also stuck by her husband's side, announcing that she was all in for his re-election campaign in a July 8th speech. For all the talk out there about this race, Joe has made it clear that he's all in, she told the North Carolina crowd. That's the decision that he's made. Just as he has always supported my career, I am all in too. After Biden stepped aside and endorsed Harris for president, the First Lady posted a handwritten note on X providing some insight into her thoughts on those that pressured Biden to leave the race. To those who never wavered, to those who refused to doubt, to those who always believed, my heart is full of gratitude. Thank you for the trust you put in Joe. Now it's time to put that trust in Kamala. Love, Jill. Well, that was the appropriate thing to do under the circumstances. The first couple will only be in Chicago for Monday, when the president will also give an address so as not to distract from the new Democratic ticket, the outlet reported. This reasoning for Biden's early departure differs from Politico's report earlier this week that claimed that President Biden would not be staying for Barack Obama's speech on Tuesday because he harbors resentment toward the former president. While Obama publicly did not support calls for his former vice president to leave, Obama allegedly privately raised concerns that he could not defeat Donald Trump in November. So he resents President Obama for stating the obvious. He should be grateful to President Obama for getting to the White House in the first place, because he had been running for president before President Obama ran, and he wasn't able to get out of the primary. So President Obama made him the vice president, and then President Obama was behind the scene when he did get elected. How much do you expect one person to do? So the Bidens are upset because the Democratic Party and Democratic operatives won't let Joe Biden just run the country in the ground when everybody can see he just doesn't appear to be up to the task. This is what white privilege, this is what entitlement looks like. I don't care whether I'm mentally competent or not. I still want to be the president, and it's still my job to lose. So you should just let me run, even though I'm wandering off in foreign countries and I'm not paying attention and I can't give a coherent answer to a simple question. Still, I want to be the president, and you should let me be the president and stand by me and run the country in the ground if that's what I want to do. This is what entitlement and white privilege look like. Take a good look, because this is what it looks like. It's just fortunate that there are people who are willing to say the buck stops here. It is reported that Nancy Pelosi is the one that let the hammer down on him, that she was the one that went into a closed door meeting and told him there will be no money for you if you stay in the race, because we don't think you can win. She went over the polls, the favorability rating, and also told him that the big-time Democratic donors were not putting any more money into his campaign. So if he was going to continue to run, he was going to have to run on his own money, or what, people could nickel and dime up and give him. So he saw the handwriting on the wall, but he did not want to leave the race. So now, rather than face reality, they are looking for somebody to blame. So they're going to blame it on President Obama. He was supposed to make it happen for him. President Obama might be a lot of things, but he's not a wizard, and he couldn't make that happen for him. I think he should be thankful for what President Obama has already done for him and go home and enjoy his retirement like the rest of us. Okay, y'all. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.